Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Take Two Radio. We are pleased to bring you interviews with people in the entertainment and music industry, discussions and recaps of the 4 remaining daytime soaps. That's The Bold and the Beautiful, The Young and the Restless, General Hospital, and Days of Our Lives, as well as various other shows. For upcoming and previous shows, check take2radio.com. That's with the number 2. And you can find us on Blog Talk Radio, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and other streaming apps. Follow us on social media at Take Two Radio, and thanks for listening. Hey, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Take Two Radio Soaps and Review. It's that time of the month again. Hey, that kind of sounds funny, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If you know what I mean, girls.
Good one. Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Well, tonight we're very delighted to have a special show and a special guest. Some of you may know her from General Hospital, her recent stint as Brooklyn, and she's been on many, many other television, movie, so many projects. I was blown away by her resume. It's just unbelievable. Briana Lynn is multi-talented. She's an actress, a producer, a writer, a director, a casting director. I don't know. There's so many things that I saw on her resume. It's unbelievable.
She does it all.
Yes, yeah. She's a one-woman show in herself, right?
multi-talented, and
definitely,
and so wonderful, so wonderful.
Oh my gosh! Well, I believe she is with us right now. Welcome, Briana.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much. What a kind introduction. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, and congratulations from all of us on your Daytime Emmy nomination. Wow.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. I heard some clapping in the background.
Yes.
I do the clapping, yes. Because well deserved.
Yep.
Yeah, sound effects
Beautiful
automatic
work.
right there.
Oh,
yes.
Thank you so much. So appreciate
you're
it.
very welcome. You're very welcome. It's well deserved. You did a phenomenal job as Brooklyn Quartermaine. It just blew us away. Tell us about it. Tell us how you got the part.
Well, so it was the height of COVID. I think it was my audition, I believe, was in July or June, end of June, early July. So it was height of pandemic 2020. And it was one of my first auditions back into, real world. I had worked a job, American Housewife, in March, and then everything shut down. So I auditioned. I had no idea how it went. It was my first Zoom audition. I didn't know where to look. I didn't know where my eyeline was. I was like, oh, gosh, that was a disaster. I don't know how that went. And Mark Teschner's so sweet. He's been a fan of mine for a while and such a great supporter. And so I didn't feel too nervous. So anyway, long story short, found out I got it. I didn't realize what it was initially. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I'm filling in for the mega talented Amanda Stetton, who also has an incredible resume. Mm-hmm. And so then immediately I just dove into studying Amanda's performance and just, Brooklyn's history too. I studied Adrienne Leon's also, just to kind of get the history of the character. And it was also my first soap. I had never done a soap opera before. So I was very nervous and just wanted to over prepare.
Well, you did a phenomenal job. There's so many people nominated or put in reels for their nominations. And
You were chosen. So you had
crazy.
something special.
Well, thank you for saying that. And, it's crazy because I really, truly was not expecting it because the category is both male and female. And it's just a bit more competitive, I would say, I think. I mean, I don't know. It's my first time doing the Emmys, so who knows. But from that perspective, I was like, I'm probably not going to get nominated. There's a lot of fish in the sea there. And so it was quite a surprise getting that news on Tuesday morning.
What was your first thought? I mean, what did you say? Was anybody around you for you to scream?
Oh my gosh, no. I had just landed from Hawaii the night before, so I was still in Hawaii time. And the results were announced 9 a.m. LA time. So that's 6 a.m. Hawaii time. So I slept till like 9:30 LA time. And I looked at my phone and it was just like text messages, missed phone calls, missed FaceTime from Caitlin, who plays Willow on the show. I was just like, oh boy, I better figure this out. So it was more like I had to call these people back. That was my first thought. And then I was just, I had this thought the night before because I knew when the results were going to be announced. And I just I was just in really in a place of gratitude. Like no matter what happens, I was so lucky to have played that part for as long as I did and to have been given that incredible material. And that I will always remember,
right.
As, my career goes on. So that was a gift within itself. And then to get nominated was just like icing on the cake,
Well, and the part when you took it over was such it was a huge storyline, having Brooklyn with her throat slashed. I mean,
yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It was just like, here, welcome to soap opera life, and here's a crazy storyline. Yeah, I was kind of being thrown into the fire there. I was like, all right, we're in a hospital bed. Okay, I almost got murdered. Yeah, it was a lot. And also, Wally and I talked about it, because we had to wear masks during rehearsal. And I think they still do, actually. We have all this history as daughter and father, and yet Wally and I didn't even know what each other's faces looked like until the camera started rolling. So it was just such a thrown into this very intense. I was like, I've seen Wally's work, obviously, but I never actually looked at him in the eye without a mask on. So having to perform and have all this, in that first one of the first scenes we had together was him kicking me out of the house.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It was a lot. It was an intense first couple of days, I would say, for sure.
Yeah. Hi, Wally.
But
bye,
so
Wally.
fun.
Or hi, Dad. Bye, Dad.
Yeah, exactly. Like, hello, nice to meet you. Okay, now you're kicking me out. Great. Oh, my gosh. But Wally, man, oh, man, what a talented man.
I love him. He is one of my all-time favorites. I just adore him. There's nothing that he wouldn't do that I wouldn't watch. Let's put it that way.
There you go. Yep. Agreed.
And he's another musician, so you got that in common.
Oh, I know. What's also we have in common, which we realized a week or two, and I had a bunch of friends on soaps. Blake Barris, who was on Days of Our Lives, he I think he played someone named Nick. He worked with Wally on Days, and so I went to college with Blake, and he's like, make sure to tell him you also went to UCLA. So Wally and I found out we both went to UCLA and studied in the same program, the same musical theater program. So that was a trip. Yeah. It was
even though there's so many actors in just LA alone, I mean, it's still a small world in many ways. Oh, totally. Oh, yeah. And especially if you're an actor who's still doing it in your 30s, like, you just know everyone, because it gets smaller as you get older, I would say. The pool of people who have not quit, essentially. Right. Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and, in my 20s, it was like there were so many actors. It was just like everyone was an actor, And now in my 30s, it feels like, okay, yeah, like every audition I go to, I pretty much know everyone in the waiting room, Yeah. Yeah.
it's kind of nice in a way that you know everybody, but then again, it's not because you're all competing for the same role.
I know, and it gets distracting. Well, it also gets distracting because I want to talk to everyone and socialize. I'm like, I got to focus. Yeah.
Well, how did you decide to become an actress? When did that start? Was you at a young age, or was it later in life?
Oh, yeah. No, I was like 5 years old, and I was practicing an Oscar speech in the mirror with a Pantene Pro V shampoo bottle. Like, I have wanted to be an actress. And I grew up in Los Angeles, right by Fox Studios, and so I was surrounded by a lot of kids who had agents and a lot of kids whose parents were famous actors. And so I was kind of like always close to the industry without really being in it. My parents didn't let me get an agent till I turned 18, basically, or till I went to college. But I begged them every Christmas for an agent. And they let me do school plays and community theater. But deep down, I was just like, and I went to college, which was great. But I think even then, I was still like, I know I just want to act. So I don't know why I'm doing this. But, so I always kind of knew that's what I wanted to do.
Well, it's great that you stuck with it. I mean, as children, we have a lot of dreams of what we want to be, but, it changes throughout the years. But I noticed with actors and musicians, I think, it pretty much starts from young age and it continues through. They just keep that same goal and most achieve it, and unfortunately some don't.
Yeah, it is crazy. It is crazy thinking about that, actually, like kind of this idea that is what I wanted to do. And, because, I also said when I was younger I wanted to be like a marine biologist and all these other things. But, it is pretty crazy. When I think about it long enough, I'm like, wow, I think 5-year-old me would be pretty happy.
Yeah.
With her glimpse into the crystal ball. Yeah.
Well, I noticed something, and now I mentioned, of course, that you're in music and you sing, and you just released, was it December of last year, a song called Bad. The name of the band, is it Cadeau?
Cadeau. It's
Cadeau.
French. It's plural for the word gift in French. And it's also my great-grandfather's original last name before he changed it when he came to Ellis Island.
That's what I was going to ask you about, because I noticed your middle name was similar.
Yes, it was Cadow. Yeah. So he changed it from Cadeau to Cadow for whatever reason. I think Cadeau is way prettier. Way prettier sounding. But, so I kind of wanted to honor that name somehow. And obviously I was like, I'm not going to change my name, but I think it would be cool to kind of incorporate it into something. So
I love that. Oh my gosh, I love that. And I bet your family is really happy about it too.
Oh, totally. Yeah, totally. And it ended up looking kind of like a cool band name too. It was sort of just like twofold. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. Now tell us how the song Bad came about.
So I started, I was in a band with and I still am in a band actually with one of my best friends. She plays Tammy on the show Shameless, if anyone watches that. And her and I had been writing and putting music out. And then I met this guy, Darian Zahidi, who plays in a band called CRX with Nick Valenci from The Strokes. And him and I decided to start writing and see what happened. Like, we had no idea what was going to come of it. We thought maybe it would just be placement music, like to put in commercials or TV shows. And then it ended up being kind of cool. And we're like, all right, maybe we should release this under something. So that's sort of how it happened. It was just sort of kind of like a happenstance type thing where we were just kind of playing around and then it turned into something cool.
I've interviewed a lot of musicians in my life, and it seems, again, that sometimes just playing around with stuff ends up being your greatest
totally. The stuff you don't think about much. Yeah. It gets really hairy when you start overthinking and like dissecting everything, and picking it apart, which we did actually for our third song, which is why it's taken so long to have more music out. And we didn't expect to put more music out because we didn't think people were actually going to, not that we didn't think they were going to like it, but we just didn't expect it to be on the radio or like, KCRW, our local radio station here that plays all the newest, coolest indie rock, played our stuff a bunch. And that was so unexpected and awesome. So we were like, we got to make more.
Absolutely. So, do not give up on it. I mean, I know it's kind of hard when you have a career like you do with doing so many different things, but if you enjoy doing it too, you can't give up on it.
Totally. Yep. Agreed.
Well, I could ask you a million questions, but I do have my co-hosts, and they each have 2 questions for you, so I'm going to release them on you.
Okay. Release me to the wolves. Okay, great.
Okay. First up is David.
Oh, hi
David.
Briana.
Hi,
Briana. I just want to say on behalf of everybody who loves soaps on here that we are so happy that you came aboard on what was a pretty dismal time, and we consider all the stand-ins to be heroes in the soap opera world at this time.
Yeah. Wow. That is really beautifully put. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really sweet, David.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. Oh. So my first question for you is, as you were growing up, what soap operas piqued your interest?
Well, I have to say 2. One of them was actually General Hospital because my manager at the time in high school, I had sort of a manager, but my parents were very cautious about it. She took me to the set of General Hospital. That was my first set experience. So I got to see what it was like. And I remember at that age, I was like, that is the goal, to get on this show, to get on the soap opera. But I would say my first job ever was on Days of Our Lives, and I started watching Days, actually. I didn't grow up actually watching soaps. My parents watched General Hospital, funny enough, when they were younger. But I started watching Days of Our Lives when I was about like 19 or so. And I had a bunch of friends on it too. So that was sort of that was the one I watched, I would say, the most.
And if I remember correctly, sorry, David, on your IMDb, you stood in.
Oh, yeah.
Or not stood in, but you were her, what is it called?
Body double. Body double, which is so funny. Yeah, that was like, to get my after card, I had to do, you could be an extra or you could be like a body double. Like, that was the thing. And I actually had been on Days of Our Lives 3 times. I had been an extra, and then I played a bride in some scene. I have no idea what episode, and I have no idea what, like, when it was. I remember I was 19. It was the same, and they just kept, Days of Our Lives just kept bringing me back for these, like, little bit stand-in parts, roles. So I loved it over there. They were so nice. But I didn't speak.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds good. Well, my second question for you is, and I looked this up, what was it like reuniting with the former co-star Marcus Coloma, who portrayed in the movie Viva la Fiesta, if I got that right?
Beverly Hills Chihuahua 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. A classic film. Yeah, that was so cool. I mean, I think he was so surprised to see me. He's like, oh my gosh, Briana. Like, we hadn't seen each other in probably 8 years or something like that. I think it came out in 2012, 9 years. I mean, it had been a long time. It was so great seeing him. He's such a wonderful person. He's so kind. Everyone on GH was so kind. I really truly mean that. And he was so quick to, kind of show me the ropes in the sense of like, oh, this is how it works here and this and that, and just very welcoming and great. So it was pretty funny seeing him after all those years.
Well, yeah, it's so nice to hear.
I have to ask this. I'm sorry for interrupting again, but I have to know the answer. When you do voiceovers like that for that movie, I mean, that's George Lopez. What did you get to meet him, or do you guys all do it separately?
No. So we played real people. So the dogs in the movie have voiceover, like famous actors playing them. Well, there were other famous actors actually in the movie too. We had Kyle Gass from Tenacious D. We had Cedric Yarbrough from Reno 911. But a lot of the voice actors, that was like a totally different thing. So us, the real act, because it was live action. It was, it was like people talking, and then the dogs would talk. And so we only got to work with the dogs, which was an experience in itself. I mean, it was truly so fun. My co-star was a St. Bernard, and they St. Bernards are like notoriously like not the best behaved. So he had like it was like one of 3 St. Bernards that looked exactly the same. And so they kept having to have like another one stand in because one of them didn't want to like behave. It was pretty funny.
Well, that's one that I haven't seen. I know I saw the first one, but I don't know if I saw the other one. So I enjoyed it. It's kind of like a kid's movie, but I enjoyed it. So, I've still got a kid at heart. So
right? And it's such a cute, actually, it's like very, it's an adult movie, like it has adult jokes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's George Lopez, so it's a little irreverent at times, so I think you would like Beverly Hills Chihuahua 3, Viva la Fiesta.
I'm going to have to watch it.
Yeah.
I truly am. Okay, well, thank you, David, for your questions, and we're going to move on to Carolyn.
David. All right. Hi, Carolyn.
Hi, Briana.
Hi.
Yeah, you're such a delight. What a beauty.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, nice talking to you. You said you were in Hawaii. What nationality are you? You have that Hawaiian look.
Oh, do I? Well, that's fun. I wish that would be so fun to call that place home. No, I'm actually French and Irish and a little Italian. I'm a little Greek. They're like all over the place. I'm basically Europe in one person.
My first question is, how did you get involved with the Arthritis Foundation? Was it a personal reason?
Yeah, I had a very serious bout with juvenile rheumatoid arthritis when I was 19. And 19 was a big year. I was on Days of Our Lives. I had arthritis. I was pretty much out of commission for 7 months, and I had to have like a handicap plaque, and every joint in my body was affected. It was awful. And they didn't know if it was lupus or arthritis, and they couldn't stop the flare. I mean, the flare was I had never had arthritis before. And that was just like it was very aggressive. So it was a lot of seeing doctors, a lot of not knowing what was wrong with me. And finally I found an amazing rheumatologist, Dr. Renee Ronaldo in Beverly Hills, who cured my arthritis. And I've been in remission ever since. I never got it again, thank God. But I feel like fundraising, because I didn't know what I had, because there wasn't enough research, I wanted to continue to support that cause, because I just know how it felt not knowing what I had, and not having the resources was the most frustrating part. So
fortunate that you found the right doctor. And what treatment did can you recommend anything, or what kind of treatment they did for you?
She had me go off all 9 medications that I was on, which was way too much for a 19-year-old. I was on even methotrexate, which is like what cancer patients take and causes infertility, and is just not
about that.
Something Yep, not something a child should be taking. And Plaquenil and Celebrex, and I mean, it was just like a whole thing. And so they had me go off all of that, which I was so afraid of. And she just put me on something called Enbrel, Enbrel.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That did something to my body. I mean, it truly put me back into remission. It was incredible. It was a matter of weeks, and all of a sudden I could start walking without pain. And I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, it was a miracle drug for me.
Wow. And now, is there a website or anywhere that we can go to know more about the society that you're
the Arthritis
Foundation?
With? Yeah, the Arthritis Foundation has a website. I believe it's arthritisfoundation.org. But if you just Google the Arthritis Foundation, you'll be taken to their site. There's only one. And they do, fundraisers. They do walks every year. They do virtual walks, obviously, now. And yeah, so it's a big, it's a really great foundation. I've actually met with one of the women there, and they're just very dedicated to helping the youth too, because it's something people don't even think kids get,
Right.
So.
Well, you have quite a story. That's you're very fortunate.
Yeah.
My second question is, can you tell us what your clip was that you submitted for your win on the daytime Emmy?
Sure. I submitted some hospital scenes with Ned and Olivia, and also Sunny. And then I submitted some fight scenes with, sounds like we're going to battle, some fight scenes with Ned, and then kind of a resolution scene with Ned. I felt like my best work was with Wally. I feel like he really brought something out in me, and we just had such a great connection when we were working together that I felt like I was getting better as an actor, honestly, every time I worked with him.
Well, those are
the
right
themes.
clips.
Yeah, I guess so.
Very, very good. Very good.
Well, thank you, Carolyn, for your question.
Yeah.
Oh, did you want to have something else?
Yeah, I was going to say, and next up is Candace.
Well, before we get to Candace, I wanted to mention that I have rheumatoid arthritis for the past 10 years, and I'm going to ask my doctor about the Enbrel, because I'm not on that, and I'm on something else, which is, I don't even know the name of it right now, because I have a bunch of pills as well. And it's not 100%, my hands, my feet. I mean, it's horrible. So I'm going to ask him about that. So I'm so glad that Carolyn asked you that question.
Yeah, and also ask him about diet too, the anti-inflammatory diet, because I think that also helped a lot. Just eliminating dairy and gluten and sugar helped a lot.
Okay, interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, diet is, oh my gosh, your body responds, and it will take a while, with the diet stuff, and it's not diet like you're dieting, it's more just health, wellness, but once you start on eliminating those foods, about over a few months, you'll start to notice, every 3 months your body kind of recycles or reprocesses things. So give it 3 months and see what happens.
Wow, awesome.
Wow, great information. You'll be helping a lot of the fans as well.
Yes,
exactly.
I hope I can. Yes.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Candace, you're up.
Okay. Hi, Briana. How you doing?
Hi. Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So I just kind of want to backtrack because I actually did volunteer many months ago at the Arthritis Foundation here in Maryland. So I actually did want to give out the website. I feel as though we're like the public service announcement, but we want to help others to find it. It is arthritis.org. You can make a donation. You can get involved. They just had the 2021 walk in May, but there's another one scheduled in October, I believe. September or October.
Yes.
So make sure you guys get involved, and, there you go. So we just want to pass it on to you guys.
Thank you.
Not a problem. Okay, so I have 2 questions as well. I had changed my first one, but to this one. Was there a teacher that really made a lasting impression on your life, like in your life? Was there 1 or 2 teachers?
Ooh, that's great. Oh, my gosh. Whew.
Well, she thinks Candace. Tell her why you're asking.
Because I'm a teacher. I work with children. I'm a child care teacher to my 2, well, I couldn't say my 2-year-olds, but they're 2, 3, 4, 21-year-olds, because they all act like they're adults now.
Oh,
yeah.
Gosh.
And those are my hearts, and I actually miss them. I'm on vacation this week, and usually, teachers always say they need a break, but I actually miss my kids. So if any of the parents are listening to this podcast, I do miss them. I'll see them on Monday. Okay.
Oh, cute. Oh my gosh. I had a bunch of teachers actually who made a huge difference. One of them was actually not a teacher. She was a nun at my high school. She had been there when, oh my gosh, what's the actress from Law and Order? What's her name?
Mariska.
Yes. Mariska went to my high school, and this nun was there when she was there. And this nun watched me in all of my plays and the musicals I did at this high school, and she always came up to me and said, "You have this gift, and I hope that you continue doing it after high school." And she kept telling me that, kept reaffirming it.
Aww.
And she wasn't a teacher, but she just had this way about her where I was like, I just believed her. I was like, I don't know if God's speaking to her. I don't know what's happening. But, this feels so, I feel so validated by this. And that she gave me a lot of confidence at that time in my life to continue doing it. And then I had a teacher, this guy, Scott Zedita in Los Angeles, who was my first real life acting teacher outside of college. And he was really hard on me, but he actually was the one who got me my first agent, who, by the way, was a soap manager, and who tried to get me on soaps. When I was 20 years old, that's all I was doing was auditioning for different soaps from 20 to 22.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it's all full circle. It's so crazy that's taking this long, but yeah.
Yes. That is crazy. I love hearing stories like that where you have, 1 or 2 teachers, and like you said, you had the nun who wasn't a teacher. But I always say that teachers come in all forms and come in different times of your life. Everybody teaches you something or gives you that encouragement that you may not have known you needed, but they were right there. They're always in your corner. So that's why I said I do miss my kids. I already know they're tearing up the classroom right now. I already know they're tearing up the classroom and just waiting for me to come back on Monday with Play-Doh and stuff like that. But now I have enough questions for you, and this is what I call my thinking question. So I'm gonna do just like I do with the kids. Put on your thinking cap.
Yes. Okay. Done.
Okay. If you could have the perfect day, what would that be like?
Wow. That's a great question. I would say, since I just was in Hawaii, I would somehow be transported to Hawaii via plane.
There you go.
I would be on the beach in Hawaii, having fresh fruit and getting to work there, getting to go to set or doing something that involved working somehow, and then at night seeing my friends and listening to really good music and eating delicious food and watching the sunset. I think that would be the ideal day. I did
that does
Hawaii
sound perfect.
5-0. It's just I did Hawaii 5-0 8 years ago, and ever since then I'm I want to go back to Hawaii and get paid to go.
There you go.
Which beach? Which beach?
Which beach? Oh my God, there's
any of them.
So many beaches. I know any. Honestly, any of them. The one I love in Maui is Big Beach. The one I love in Oahu is Waimanolo. The state park.
Oh, on the other, the other.
Yeah, on that other side, north, or it's like east on the island. East. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my favorite beach on Oahu. And then Kauai has some good. I grew up going a lot, so I want to go more. This past trip, I was like, why am I not here every day? This is so good for the soul.
I lived there for a year, and I thought I was going to retire there, but I didn't quite make it.
Wow. Wow. Which island did you live on?
Oahu.
Wow. That's my favorite one.
Yeah, it's very pretty there. Yep.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
When you go there, you always want to go back for some reason or another. There's just something about Hawaii, the Hawaiian Islands.
There really is. There really is.
Yeah.
It's does something that that
it
air,
gets in your blood.
The air is so nice. Yes, it gets in your blood. Yeah. And the salt water and and the water's so clean. It's so LA, the beach is like there's like sewage going into the water. It's not the cleanest the beaches,
the trade
winds.
There's just a different different atmosphere.
It's like a different atmosphere. Yeah, it's like a different world. I said it's like a different atmosphere there versus like you said, like Los Angeles or of course New York or here in Maryland. It's just a peaceful getaway. Like you feel at one with yourself there.
Mm-hmm. Where are all of you guys based?
So I'm in Maryland. Yeah, everybody pretty. Yeah, I'm in Baltimore, Maryland. So.
And nice. I'm in Chicago. Carolyn is in Florida.
Yeah, I heard a little Chicago in your voice.
Yeah. You hear Chicago in my voice?
It.
Oh,
yeah,
I don't think
Pam,
I have an accent.
The long
told you.
Everybody else has an accent. I don't. I sound normal.
Yeah, exactly.
But Pam,
you're the showrunner, so if you say so, then it must be.
That's right.
I don't know. I was gonna ask this question. What is normal? What is normal exactly?
Right.
No accent. No accent.
No.
Well, then I don't have one either. I don't have one.
You do, because you're in Maryland. Yes. Anthony has the New York accent. Carolyn has the Canada accent.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you guys are all over. I love it.
Yeah, I'm up state.
So David's up near David's up near
Syracuse,
New York.
Syracuse.
Oh, nice.
That's pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's so cool. Wow.
Yeah. That's what's great about doing a podcast like this is we can have anybody call from anywhere. So I had people call in from Europe. I mean, it's just I love it.
Wow.
And from England and Scotland and mainly those were all my musicians that I used to interview. So it's
wow.
awesome.
Oh, that's so cool.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Well, Candace, thank you for your questions. And the last but not least, we have Anthony.
Yay. How you doing?
Hi, Anthony. Good. How are you?
So you're here in New York, but I actually relocated to Miami right before the pandemic. So I'm gonna take a privilege too and go back for a moment. Candace, real quick, when you asked that question, I thought of Miss Congeniality, April 25th, because it's not too warm, it's not too cold. All you need is a light spring jacket. But all kidding aside, when you were, everybody who listens to the podcast knows I lost my eyesight 5 years ago. When you were talking about the preparation that you did for the role, I got to tell you, I knew what day you were stepping into the role. And I actually asked this group in our chat message, was today the day or did they skip? Because your performance was so seamless.
Oh my!
Stepping into the role, I really wasn't sure if I had confused the dates or not. And it was still Amanda playing the role. You really did an amazing, and being blind, you hear I know when Laura Wright has a cold. I know when her allergies are picking up, because when you're blind, you're just cued into voices so much deeper than sighted folks are. So kudos and congratulations. The nom is so well deserved. So I have two fun questions for you. They saved me for last because I'm the goofy one. My first question to you is two-pronged. I want to know what, you worked with James Patrick Stewart, Maurice Bernard, Nina, Annie, Cynthia Watros, I'm sorry. I mean, you just, Wally Kurth, who you mentioned. So you worked with all these powerhouse folks. What did you walk away, education-wise with? And the second part of that question is, what is one, super spectacular soap storyline? Evil twin, back from the dead, multiple personality. What is the one thing you would love to play on a soap?
Oh, my gosh.
I have another fun
question
that's for you.
Great questions. Those are so great. Okay. The first one I would say is all those soap actors taught me the incredible I had to learn this. This was a muscle that was not worked, you know what I mean, when I first came on. But to drop in so quickly. They can just drop. I mean, they're talking, goofing around, and then it's like, all right, guys, settle, and action. And it's like they're in the scene. And it's just like this insane transition. And they're so present in their performances. And it felt like I was doing theater. I mean, it felt so intimate. So that honestly is what I learned is developing that muscle of being able to drop in on a dime into an emotional space. And then in terms of a crazy storyline I would love to play, I think the multiple personality disorders would be very fun. Also playing a ghost would be kind of cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I feel like that has happened maybe in soaps, but playing a ghost would be kind of weird and cool. And yeah, I would say, and maybe someone with like an accent, like someone from like the South or something who's like the new girl in town or something like that, and could be kind of like a comedic thing.
Can you do it? So here's your audition. Let's hear a Southern accent. Give us a line.
Oh my gosh! What hold on.
Bless your heart.
So you on the spot.
Give us both.
Bless your heart.
Bless your heart.
Well, now all I can do right now is the Chicago accent right now, because that's what all I hear in this interview is that.
Go for it. I want to hear it. I want to hear it. Yeah,
I have family from Chicago, and Michigan, so that's where it feels like home hearing an accent. Oh gosh, the Southern girl would just be a really nice girl who just wants no drama in the town and just lots of happiness or whatever.
You go, girl.
You got the part. You got the part. There you go.
Booked it.
So Pam earlier in the interview touched on your musicality, and I got to say I love the second single. Oh my God! But so everybody has their musical. Now, of course, if you can't tell, I'm part of the LGBT community. If I could have like the fairy godmother grant me my wish, I would want to be Madonna for a week while she's on tour. I want to be in front of 75,000 people voguing and expressing myself, et cetera, et cetera. Give us your top three musical icons, and if you could step into one of their lives for a week, who would you want to be?
Oh my gosh!
And by the way, they're casting for the Madonna biopic as we speak. So if you're willing to go platinum and dark, etc., girl, put yourself in.
They actually are too, and I saw that.
Oh my gosh, I would say I love me a Lana Del Rey. I love a Lana Del Rey moment.
Yes.
I would love.
Yes.
Yes. Just the emo vibes all day. Being sad, but also she has such a big fan base. She has so many fun backup dancers. Like, it just sounds like it'd be such a fun journey. And she's so good at kind of nailing this like nostalgic moment in time. Like, she gets in Los Angeles, and she's just so wonderful. And then I would say Sharon
My
Bennett.
partner is salivating right now. He loves her.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Lana. She is a queen. And then I would probably say like Billie Eilish too. I mean, she's a little young, but her music is so good, and her fan base is so good, and her videos, just to be in one of her music videos would be so fun. And then I would say Sharon Van Etten, who's this indie rock artist who's incredible.
Oh, God, yes.
Yes, she's amazing. Her and Angel Olsen just came out with this amazing song called Like I Used to. That's like truly insane. But I love her because she reminds me of like old rock and roll singer-songwriter. And she's getting a big following too. And for those who don't know her, I would listen to the song 17. It's a really, really good classic sounding song.
Yeah,
she's like the female version of
that
Bruce
whole
Springsteen.
barefoot rock. Yes.
Yes. It's great. I love it. It'd be so fun.
Well, thank you so much. We are definitely, rooting for Briana for the win. But even if the statue goes to someone else, you just have to know you did a phenomenal job. And bonus question: would you do a long-term soap role?
Oh yeah. You know what's funny? And I love episodic television. I've been blessed to be working in episodic television and film. I recently just did a show this year, an Apple TV show that was so fun and such a great time. But I do have to say, after being on GH for 5 months and being on a soap, I got so used to how the soap pacing goes. So being on this episodic show, I was like, wait, what do you mean we have to do more than one take? We got it.
I yelled it. What do you mean?
We have to made a mistake around in the trailer. Like, it was just kind of like, wait, I don't know if this is as rewarding, because after doing a soap, you get so much material. You're going through so many emotions. You have so much work that you're doing. You're so artistically fulfilled, I guess is my point. And then going to episodic, where it's like, if you're not a series regular, you're kind of there supporting it, and it's like kind of one and done. You're in and out. And man, I would love to be on the soap. After being on stage, I think that kind of, yeah.
Young and the Restless, call on Briana.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Give me a ring.
Yep.
Thank you.
You could still get a role on Days of Our Lives, even though you've been on there, but you haven't had an actual role.
Gosh.
And then there's also The Bold and the Beautiful.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Come on, Pam. Don't we want to see her tear it up with Sally Spectra and Victoria Newman, and maybe get a little action with some Nick Newman, Josh Morrow?
Don't do
Yes,
definitely.
Oh
my gosh, yes,
definitely. We're here for it.
So fun. Okay, great. Let's do it. Manifest it.
Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And before we let you go, can you let everybody know how they can follow along with you on social media and your YouTube channel, which needs more videos? Hint, hint.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, girl.
Oh my gosh.
Do a couple of covers on that YouTube channel. A little Belinda Carlisle and a little Joni Mitchell. Run the gamut on that channel, girl. Yes.
Oh, that great suggestion. My gosh. I'm going to have to hire you to be my agent. There you go. Yeah, that sounds, what's funny, you guys? I don't even know my URL on YouTube, LOL. So if you just search my name on YouTube, I'm sure you'll find something. But on Instagram, I'm Briana, Briana Lane, Lane. And then on Twitter, it's just twitter.com/Briana Lane.
Awesome.
Yay.
Well, I tell you, this was a very, very fun and interesting interview. And I want to thank you again for all the information on the arthritis, because I'm definitely going to look into that. And I wish you only the best. And make sure you keep in touch with us because we'd love to have you back when you have new projects.
Oh, my gosh,
when that next big project comes along, and if you put up a bunch of cover songs, then come back and sing a little acoustic for us.
These are all such great ideas. I'm loving this. Okay, yes. I'm here for it. Thank you guys so much. It was
You're welcome.
So great talking with you all.
Thank you.
Same
and we'll
here.
be watching for you on the daytime.
It's been a pleasure.
Yay. All right, guys. Talk to you later.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Aloha.
Malaha.
Okay, and that I really meant it when I said it was a very fun interview because she was just awesome. She's such an inspiration, and I'm sure that if there's any young actors or actresses starting out, you really need to watch her work.
Anybody who gets that call to step into a role, Lindsay Hartley too, we have to say, and I think we've said it on the show.
Yeah.
But anyone who gets that call, check out Briana's. Listen, watch a couple of episodes of Amanda, and then watch a couple of episodes of her, and just realize, if you've got the acting chops, you can do it. It takes a little bit of work to step into a character like, that's just. I mean, Brooklyn is very well defined as a character. So to step into it and just take it the way she took it,
And not only that, I wanted to say this: she made that character her own.
Yes.
Not a lot of people who can do who stops in for a couple of weeks or months can make that character into their own. She nailed it. I will say this: not a lot of people do it on first day. To me, when of course, when Amanda went on maternity leave and everything, and she came into this role, I can tell you right now, the body language sold it for me. The way she was standing, the way that she was it was just a quick, but she really nailed that role. Her chemistry with Wally and everybody else, it was like she's been there. Like she's been there for a long period of time.
Absolutely.
That's why I kind of wish I wish y'all would have said that Brooklyn had a twin. Named Bronx or something. This is one of those times I would have let y'all do a twin storyline. Hey now, okay, Lewis had twins. Didn't know about.
And honestly, the last time I felt this way, and I know that, and she got a lot of unfair backlash when Jen Lilly stepped in for Maxie at GH. She paid homage to Kristen in the first, 2, 3, 4 weeks of performance, but she subtly, very transitionally made that character her own. And by the time, Kristen Storms was ready to come back, you remember I went on Twitter and said, why can't Maxie have the long-lost twin sister? Because Jen Lilly had taken that role and done so well with it. And this is the same situation. She really, and like you said earlier, Pam, she had such meaty stuff to play, that, for it to be as seamless as it was, she absolutely deserves this nomination. And if she walks away with it, I will not be sad, even though my prediction was what it was. I will rejoice if she walks away with it.
Right, exactly. We're down to the last hour, so let's hit the floor running, and we'll start with the Bold and the Beautiful. I don't really have a whole lot to say, other than it feels like I'm still watching. I'm still watching the same scene as we were 6 months ago, and
I just want to clarify something real quick. The opinion of this topic belongs to me. It doesn't, reflect on Take Two Radio. But I don't advocate for people to get fired. However,
go ahead, girl, do it. Do it.
The fashion on the show, has become more of a topic than what's going on in the show.
Right.
And that, and I'm saying it like this because I'm trying not to laugh. well, actually, no, I can't do it. I tried. That was my acting. Thank you. Here's the thing. Even though there's stuff going on Bold and the Beautiful, one of the things that people are talking about is the fashion, and not in a good way. It's to the point where, I don't know, you guys remember the show on E, the Soup, Talk Soup? Do you guys remember that show?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Basically. Talk Soup.
So I kept thinking if that show was still on, or if, Joan Rivers, God rest her soul, honey, was still alive, or, they had fashion police, how they would be making fun of Bold and Beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's like to the point where it when you're watching, it makes you kind of uneasy. Like, it just be like, oh God, wait, that's not even though they're telling you it's Gucci, you're like, Gucci said come back, like, bring it back.
Well, even Brook has been affected. The other day she had something on. I looked at her outfit and I thought, oh, no. No. You cannot do this to Brook. Brook wears some phenomenal outfits. But there was just one that was like, I will tell you who's the one character who's been affected the most, and that is Miss Reengaged herself, because Zoe, like, to me, Kiara is a very, and Kiara Barnes, she's a beautiful young woman. She is very, well built and everything. For them to do that to her, I think that is just like, that is ungrateful. That's being not nice. With Anika, in real life, Anika likes bohemian fashion, and they try to transfer it over to Hope. I'm sorry. Now the other day, Hope did have on a nice pants outfit. I was like, okay, that's from Anika's,
you know what, girl?
personal
I'm gonna
collection.
stop you right there, because somebody on Twitter, I got into this conversation, as I said earlier, and our listeners know, I'm blind, so a lot of times I have to go to my sighted friends and get a little fill-in. What was the outfit? What were they doing? Where was the hand? Whatever it might be. I might need a little, they call it audio description. And currently the only soap that offers audio description is NBC's Days of Our Lives. Thank you, the powers that be, Corday and NBC, because it really does make the world so much better for those of us who have vision issues. But I digress. With a PSA. Audio description, CBS, please get some audio description, but I digress. The response that was given to me the other day was the best response I have heard in the longest time in regards to this issue. There is not a single fashion house in LA or anywhere else on the planet, Paris, Milan, anywhere else that you go, that will allow their employees, family, stockholders, et cetera, to show up wearing anything but haute couture, house couture, casual couture, but you're going to see representation of whatever the fashion trends are right now. Most importantly, the house that you're working for, and Forrester Creations obviously is a made-up brand for the soap opera itself, but you're not going to ever see a woman that's working for a fashion house in yoga pants or a bohemian peasant, flowing house-looking shirt dress. You're not going to see them in casual clothing. You are never going to see someone who works for a fashion house wearing a pair of jeans. You're never going to see them wearing a pair of off-the-rack sneakers or Payless shoes. And so, when I heard that response, I thought to myself, you know what? The first 20 so years of The Bold and the Beautiful, that was exactly it. You never saw anyone unless they were naked. And if you saw them, naked with a little sheet here or whatever it was that covered up the hoo-ha and the woo-woos, other than that, you saw them dressed to what you expected of a soap opera that's based in L.A. around a fashion house.
Okay.
Right now, they are dropping the ball big time on that part.
They are, because I know one of the fashion rules is not to wear white after Labor Day, unless you watch Serial Mom, which is like a great movie. Y'all should watch it. Okay. That outfit, that pink outfit with the dragon in the middle of Zoe's dress, and y'all know which one I'm talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
The white shoes, this is not 1975. Platforms are out. Staying Alive, disco, that's all gone. Bye. Sorry. Don't bring it back.
Honey, they had Quinn in an oversized shirt wearing yoga pants. Her husband is Forrest the Creation. There is no way that she would ever be in an oversized shirt.
I got one even better. I got one even better. And this is with Zoe, not Zoe, with Paris. It's the current outfit that she had on, right? It was the green, like, kaleidoscope outfit. Y'all probably seen it, right? Yeah. I said, okay, I'm going to try to save this. Because if I was the fashion consultant on Bold and Beautiful, I would have took that young lady who plays Paris, Diamond White, I believe that's her name. I would have cut that into a little romper. Now I watched The Hills on Peacock, right? So I know that this would have worked. I would have cut it to an appropriate level because they are in the workplace. Instead of those those yellow boots. Those yellow boots, I would have put on black heels. Open-toed, strapped black heels. Welcome to Take Two Radio's fashion review. There you go. That's what we need to do.
When my sister described that outfit for me, I said, well, was Smokey the Bear, like, in the background holding up the sign, please don't start forest fires? What the hell?
No, it really reminded me of a kaleidoscope. Like, y'all remember the ones y'all looked into and you saw all the – you guys remember the show Romper Room. I'm pretty sure some of y'all was alive for that. I only saw repeats. But it just, to me, like I said, Bold and Beautiful, last year the major talk was about the mannequins. This go around is about the fashion. That we forget what's going on the show, which is that Liam and Bill are covering up, the fact they hit and killed Vinny, a.k.a. Vincent. I'm giving his government name. I'm sorry. I got to give him his government name. And Carter and Quinn, and then Shauna was playing the best friend of the year. Like, she should get the best friend of the year award for saying that it was her and Carter that slept together. And Flo wants to know, well, how come my mama's been having sex with somebody and I don't know about it? That's because, honey, you're her daughter. You don't need to know everything, honey. Sit somewhere. And then you got Paris, spoiler alert, she found out. But guess what? Carter's so torn about everything that he decides to re-propose to Zoe. But even though he just was thinking about him and Quinn, I'm like, oh my gosh, what a web we weaved. Maybe it would have been a better outfit.
Let me ask you this: as far as Bill and Liam is concerned, now they're both in the Who's Cow. Who's going to stay and who's going to go?
Liam.
Okay. I think Bill will get out.
Okay.
Only reason is because
they both stay, but
they can't both stay. It wouldn't be a soap opera.
No.
Yeah, but yeah. I just want to jump to Carter for 1 second, though, because this is the one spot where I think the writing is actually spot on. If this were real life and I was friends with Carter, I'd be telling him, yo, bro, come on now. Whoever walks away victorious over Forrester, whoever walks away victorious over Spencer, there's no way. You're a diversion. You're a dalliance. You're probably the hottest she's ever going to know, but she's never going to pick because you don't have that right last name.
Right.
I just think, like, I will say this. There was a scene last week when, Liam had confessed and Bill came in, and they were having to talk about protecting the family. Because what I think some people do forget, like, Scott Clifton and Don Diamont, look, it's been a hot minute since they really shared, like, an intense scene like that.
Yes.
Like, and this is why they actually play off of each other very well. The fact that Liam, like you said, he was thinking about how his kids will feel like for not telling the truth and not, doing, like, facing the consequences. Like, he's trying to set an example. He knows what he did. And, we, the audience, let's be real, Liam never pays for anything that he does. He's always been back and forth between the two women who all have suffered consequences because of it. he's always been what I call the white knight riding on the horse. Like, giddy up, I'm here to rescue you. You have Bill, who he does stuff, but he does it for his family, like somebody else on the sister show. He does stuff for the family. It may not be the perfect way, but he is always trying to do something for him. And he still feels as though he feels as though out of all the children, Liam is the one that he will actually kind of, put his neck out for. I love the fact that when Bill said you had Well, wait a minute. Let me back.
He would put his neck out for all three of his boys.
Well, I'm going to get to that because I'm going to tell you why I said that in just a minute. The fact that, when Liam said, it was Bill who said, you have 2 kids that's going to need you. And then Liam is like, you have Will. The reason I just said that about sticking in that, because I feel as though Bold and Beautiful sometimes forgets that Bill does have 3 kids. That he has 3 kids.
Yes.
And the fact
stop
Liam,
right there for 1 second, because that's a very valid Liam-ism to throw in there. He didn't have his father in his life. So there's always going to be that natural tendency to think that the bond with the child that you watched, you held in your arms moments after was born, and you have watched every single stage. You watched them spit up on themselves. You watched them spit up on you. You held them.
Remember, Liam didn't know who his daddy was. Yeah, because remember, Liam did not know. Yeah, Wyatt didn't even know who his dad. And that's the thing, is that Bill, with his children, he wants to set the quote-unquote foundation, the legacy. But at the same time, there's a part of him that tries to make it up to each kid.
Yeah.
Like both Liam and Wyatt have said in the past, you screwed us over. Like, we accepted it. You screwed us over. There's a third little boy, too, who, and like Liam said, if you go to jail, what is he going to say? What is he going to think of, da-da-da-da-da-da? You guys think about Will. I really enjoyed those scenes because it showcased that Liam, that something that I saw on social media, people say, oh, Liam doesn't care about one of the kids or the other. No, he said that he cares about both. He just didn't want to be a disappointment. And I just love the fact that you have Liam who, again, he has, I don't want to say, the word privileged or anything, but he's got away with certain things that normal people would have, like, again, Stacky Hope, y'all should have kicked him to the curb a long time ago, but that's just me. But there's certain things that he has gotten away with. This he couldn't get away with because this was eating at his conscience. Bill, again, any parent does not want to see their child get locked up, hurt, or anything. So they'll switch places real quick without thinking about their own consequences. And so, he goes to jail. Detective, I want to say detective, but he's deputy. Deputy Baker called him out on all of that. And I was like,
well, think about it for a second, though. Think about it for a second, though. Bill is the puppet master first and foremost. He has the need to rectify situations for Liam for Liam and Wyatt, because he didn't have the whole first 18, 19, 20, whatever years it was when each one of them finally popped up. So he has that going on. He's never going to change. It's like asking Victor Newman. You referenced that other soap opera a couple of seconds ago. It's like asking Victor Newman to get reality check, which is never going to happen. Victor lives in Victor's world, and that's it. It's Victor's world the way he sees it. And if it isn't that way, he's going to make it that way until he has no other choices left. And that's who Bill is. Liam has always been the white. You coined it perfectly. He's the white knight on the white horse. He needs to save everyone. He needs to do the right thing. He needs to make sure that everybody is fairly compensated. Everybody gets what they need out of the situation. And if he gets scored in the process, so be it. The thing is I love Bold and the Beautiful for doing this because it does kind of combine reality with the soap opera fantasy. Nice guys, they say that they finish last, and they do in certain ways, but nice guys usually end up in a place where there's a Teflon kind of feeling to them because everybody wants to step up and build that circle around them because they're so good, they're so, on the right path that people will step up and shield and protect and do what needs to be done. So legitimately, we've always said Bold and the Beautiful is the most in reality based of the 4 soap operas, with Young and the Restless coming right behind them. But the Bold and the Beautiful tells stories from a reality perspective rather than an evil twin popping up or somebody back from the dead to right or wrong, blah, blah. When they fix something, they fix it in reality terms rather than some off-the-wall storyline like a brain tumor that made me become a psychopathic killer artist.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're getting down to 45 minutes here, and we still have 3 other shows, so we can catch up next time on more. Next up is The Young and the Restless, and I first want to say that I knew Tara had an evil side to her, I guess, or what is the word I'm looking for?
An agenda.
Sneaky, tricky.
Yeah, some kind of agenda to what she was doing here. And Sally, of course, picked up on that. So this is going to be fun. And I don't believe her ex, Ashlyn. I don't believe him for 1 second with his, okay, let's be nice, and yes, I'm a good daddy, and you're going to have a good time with your children and your child, and I'm not going to take him away from you, and blah, 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 blah. I don't believe any of that for 1 second. Go.
I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
Let me just say this. Ashlyn to me is one very, very breath of fresh air for the Young and the Restless.
I love him. I love him.
I love him. He's multi-layered. It's very hard to pin down what he's going to do next. Richard Burgi, who, obviously has all the credits behind him. He deserves all the accolades that he gets. It's a breath of fresh air. So as far as knowing whether or not he's going to stick to this, come on. You're exactly right, Dan. No. We all see the writing. We all see the writing on the wall. We all knew where Tara was going with this. However, having Kyle in that position yet again paint him as, Candace, am I wrong when I say he is Jack he's Jack the reboot?
Oh yeah. I was going to say as soon as you finish, I'm going to go there with that. With this storyline, it reminds me. This storyline really is taking me back to Jack, Diane, Phyllis.
Yep.
A little bit, yeah.
But
there's remnants there.
But I'm going to be honest. I need for Young and the Restless to stop something. I need for them to stop on a Monday, half a Tuesday, and Wednesday, giving me something that I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. And then we go back to the same old, same old. I need for there to be some rewrite and personality and character-driven stuff. I need for the whole Sally and Summer, because I'm going to be honest, as much as I want that to be, the way that they're playing Sally versus Summer makes no sense to me whatsoever. I don't get it. Yeah. Unless you have a liable reasoning of why these two do not get along and can't stand each other, I'm out of it. I understand they're trying to make Sally into the new quote-unquote half of Phyllis, half of Lauren, and half of a busybody.
Oh, no, honey. On that, I disagree with you. It's not half Phyllis, half Lauren. They're straight up making her the new Phyllis.
Oh, no.
They're straight up.
So the reason I say Lauren is because you got to go back into the 80s. You got to go back to the 80s. That's where I'm taking the half of Lauren from. Because again, Sally is sort of kind of got her nose turned up a little bit. She's feelings because of how she's handling certain things. But the problem is that you can have Sally do that. You can have her, but please give me a legit reason why Summer Ann Newman and Sally Spector Jr. do not get along. You could actually have a real good rival. Right. You can have a real good rival in the situation because I feel as though they're doing everything as if we already got the legit explanation. I don't buy the fact because she got a job and you didn't. That's bull. I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry. The whole Kyle
not to
thing.
This level. No, you're absolutely right.
Not to this level.
Yes.
With Kyle, look, Kyle is an avid male, true and true throughout. He is his father. He is his uncle. He is probably his cousin too. Kyle, you're supposed to be smart. You don't know this game by now? Tara, okay. I know she's a gold
right there,
digger.
Candace. Right there. Let's stop for a second because you're exactly right. He grew up seeing everything that happened to Aunt Ashley, Aunt Tracy, Daddy Jack, all the struggles. He grew up seeing it.
But can I ask a question?
And when
Hey, I'm gonna ask this question, Young and the Restless writers. Hey, how you doing?
All right.
Do y'all not remember y'all did the exact same thing with Kyle that y'all doing with Harrison? Because remember, Kyle for a minute thought Victor was his daddy. Thank you. Okay. That is the more you know, the Young and the Restless edition on Take Two Radio. For those who don't know,
let me just add to this that as far as Kyle watching what happened, with his father and such, as a child, you either become your parents when you grow up, or you try not to one of them, or you do the opposite, right? And Kyle has fallen into Jack's path.
When you become your parents, that doesn't take, in real life, when you become your parents, you're still justifying everything. You still recognize, there's very little throwback to what happened. And this, all the soaps to a degree have this. Bold and the Beautiful is the second most, annoying in this category. But, you reference things that happened in reference to what's going on with you. Perfect example, Young and the Rest, Bold and the Beautiful being, Steffi, Liam, Hope versus Taylor, Brook, Ridge. When they don't reference those things, it annoys fans like us who have been watching for 30 plus years and know that in real life, these things would come up. They might not change the behavior.
Yes and no, because I'm like my mother. My mother and my father were total opposites on how they viewed life and how they lived life. And I chose to be like my mother because I definitely did not want to be like my father. And I don't always think about what I'm doing or saying in my life that is the same thing of what my mother did.
Wait, hold up. Let me ask you this, right? If your father had a secret daughter that popped into the family, 17, 16, 18 years into your life, 25 years into your life, and then boom, you're dealing with the person that is now coming to claim that your paramour is now the baby father, wouldn't you say, oh, I better go talk to my mother because she dealt with that? That's what annoys me about the Young and the Restless.
Well, I'm gonna even backtrack it a little bit even more. I get what you're saying, Pam, and I definitely get what you're saying about that too, Anthony. The problem with me with this whole story is, first and foremost, Kyle slept with a married woman, point blank. Okay?
Right.
And I know that
and
he
knew she was married. It's not like it came out afterwards.
Right. And not only that, it's not like too, Kyle didn't know that there was a child. He knew there was a child. He knew that he was the father of, just a reassurance to make sure they took the test. So it wasn't like it was a secret that he kept with her, that Theo knew, that Sally knew, that Kyle felt pressure to tell Summer. That's where the whole Jack, Diane, Phyllis stuff came for me. I do feel as though there are sections of the story that should have played out a little bit more. I feel as though like they've already fast forward a little bit because now you have Sally and Tara working together to kind of tear apart Summer and Kyle. Again, why does Sally have it out for Summer? Like, if all of this is because of a job, then I'm sorry. Yes, this is a real good storyline if y'all did it right. But to me, the backing of it is because Sally is jealous of Summer because of a job. Are you saying?
I would understand it more if Sally was after Kyle.
Thank you.
Okay,
and that's where I thought this was
let me
going
throw
at.
this into the mix for a second.
Yeah.
If Sally were to go back and reference her Bold and the Beautiful history and say, this is why I was up against this powerful family, blah, 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 that would even make sense. But, you know, it's just, I agree.
Well, I think that's what they're going to be doing this week. Like, because we know that John McCook is coming over as Eric because of the whole Sally thing. But and okay, I'm going to be honest, the crossovers. Okay, as much as I've been asking, I think we've all been asking for these crossovers. Again, the point of this crossover is because of Sally versus Summer. I need to know, bottom line, I need to know, what is it that Summer did to Sally to make Sally jump off like this? Why is Sally so determined?
That's it.
Yeah, why is Sally so determined to tear down Summer's world? If there was no terror,
Yes. And sidebar note, if John McCook is there and there are no scenes with Lauren, I'm going to be really pissed off.
Well,
I'm going to be really pissed.
Well, I'm going to be honest. I need something else to happen too. I know we're giving Young and the Restless a little too much, but you got to do this. Josh, writers, listen up. Somebody needs to tell somebody that Sheila Carter is still around.
Yes,
thank you.
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God, yes. The last time there were crossovers, and they didn't. I was like furious.
Thank you. That's all I ask for in the world.
She seems to have rehabilitated herself. She's serving mozzarella sticks. She's got it all on.
No. She now has. She has an Airbnb now. Yes, it's on Rodeo. It's a beautiful place. It's called Carter's Inn. There you go.
Yeah. No. Oh my God. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Before we move away from the
anything
the
else on the Young and the Restless? Go ahead.
Yes, I have to say I am absolutely loving the new face. You know.
Oh, me too. Oh yeah. From day one.
It is no secret that I did not love the last face as much as the rest of you did. I think that she had moments, and she was good. Don't get me wrong. But, I didn't really love her in the role, and whatever. So, but, oh, my God. This girl took it and ran with it. God bless.
Yes.
I don't remember what her name was in real life, but you go,
Ray-Lynn.
girl.
Ray-Lynn.
Thank you. Ray-Lynn, girl. If you listening, or if somebody who knows her is listening, you tell her that Take Two Radio thinks that she is the best thing that has come onto Young and the Restless. You go, girl.
I still remember her.
Yeah.
I still remember her from The Big Show on Netflix. I remember her early work. Just like with Briana, I totally forgot she played the doctor on Young and Hungry on Freeform. For those who didn't know, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, I know who that is. Okay, yeah, she was crazy on that show. She had a little accent there too. But.
Okay, well then moving
on Kim, where are we going
to
now?
Days of Our Life, so Carolyn can get her voice working again, and I'll be right back.
Yeah, Carolyn, are you still there?
Queen girl, what's going on? Tell us about Days of Our Lives.
Oh my goodness, there's so much happening. Does anyone know what Chanel's mother's going to do with the stores? I can't figure out what she's
planning. I have a hunch, but this is only my guess. My guess, but I have a hunch it has something to do with prostitution.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
And I have a feeling that Kate's past is going to come back, and she's going to suddenly be pulled into this storyline. But go ahead.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know, one thing I will give Ron, he's very good at throwing in the curveball that, you know, in the back of your mind, if you thought about it once you see the scenes, et cetera, you're like, oh, yeah, you know what, I should have thought of that. But because it's so in the distant past, it's not the first thing you go to. I have a feeling that as this storyline progresses, Kate's really going to be pulled into it. Candace, girl, what about you?
Well, you know, first and foremost, y'all know I love Paulina. I love her. That's by far the best thing of the soaps in the recent couple of months is Jack K. Jack K. Coming on stage.
Yeah.
I do think it is. I mean, half of me was thinking about the prostitution, but I think it's something else too. I'm not too sure, but I think it's like financial situation. Like I think she is broke, quote unquote, and borrowing from somebody else, and we're going to find out who her backer is.
Backer. Okay.
Yeah. It's funny because I like this storyline, even though I know there's so much going on with Days right now. This is one of those stories that I'm just like, okay, y'all playing it low, but you're doing good because there's so many, like y'all taking Paulina and Chanel in different orbits, but it's something that's tying them all in together, and I'm just like, ooh, okay, let's see where we're going at with this.
And each new circle brings them a little bit closer. Yes.
Yeah. Is this a rumor that Chanel is leaving?
No, it's a fact.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So Precious Way, who played Chanel, before she got Days of Our Lives, she had like 3 pilots. Like she booked film, and you know there was something called Corona that happened too. So that's why some of the stuff didn't get picked up. So now the one show that she has is her and rapper MC Lyte got picked up. So because of that, she's been filming that since April. So there's a new young lady. I can't think of her name right now. Raven. It's not Raven Simone. For those who was going to say Raven Simone, it's not. That's so Raven.
No.
But it's another actress who is stepping in. And we should be seeing her around probably after the Olympic break. Because the way that everybody figured it out, the way everybody figured it out is because Days of Our Lives fans are detectives. Everybody was looking on social media. They looked at this girl's Instagram and be like, wait a minute, that's the same couch as from Lamone's dressing room. Who is this girl? Wait a minute, let's find out. So that's how that all came out, by the way. And then all the news outlets picked up on it. I was like, okay, go ahead, Days while I was like, if you need your social security number.
Yeah, but Carolyn, there's not going to be a break in the story. It's literally going to be playing the role of today is Raven, Simone, wannabe girl.
Well, it's too bad because they've been giving Chanel a bad time, and it was just kind of starting to get a little better, and now she's leaving.
Well, I mean,
no. The character's going to stay consistent on screen. Yeah. It's just one day it's going to be, I forget who she is now, and the next day it's going to be Raven. Yeah. Same thing with Brooklyn. One day it was Amanda, and the next day, we didn't see on screen there was a break, but it wasn't because of the character situation. It was because the way they film and the way they're telling the story. But literally, it was in the middle of the storyline, and then suddenly Briana popped up, and we're like, oh, hello, hi, how you doing?
Like, how you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, it's not going to interfere.
Yeah.
The dynamics are going to change with Allie and Chanel. How do you like that
I'm going to be honest. I think that's going to be the interesting factor is to see. I mean, we say this about a lot of recasts. Sometimes the OGs, and the person, whoever they're going to pair, was paired up with, they have a dynamic. And then when the recast comes, of course, you're going to be like, for the first 6 weeks, because that's how much time I give, you have to fill them out a little bit. Some work and some doesn't. But since the Allie and Chanel storyline was kind of just getting started, it may be it might actually be a good thing. I mean, Precious, to me, Precious had chemistry with Paul Taffner, because Paul has, by the way, hi, Paul, if you're listening, hi. But he has chemistry with everybody. So I'm just saying.
Yeah,
but it may be a different.
Trying to get Paul on the show. By the way, we have to. We have to talk to that man.
But don't say anything about me, like you did with Jordy.
No, girl, I'm going to be standing out for myself on that one.
No, I'm just telling Pam not to do that. And if anybody's listening, please don't repeat this.
Well, don't forget he dated my junior goddess. He dated Kylie Minogue for about 7 months, and I want to know all about his time with Kylie.
And I did meet him, and he's really sweet too. He's really
nice.
He
is sweet. He's a really nice guy.
I just don't want nobody to, say anything about a crush or anything. Pam.
No, girl, don't worry about it. I'll take care of that.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay. I have one question to ask you guys.
Okay.
And this is just, when I say this, just think in your minds that I'm thinking about, for me, every actress, every character, etc., has their, shining moments that you can never duplicate. So for me, with Allison Sweeney, that whole 2 episodes where she found out about EJ and, oh God, why is it blanking? Multiple personality girl. When she found out about
Kristen?
those 2, no, not Kristen.
Abby.
Thank you.
Abby.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Remember, Days of Our Lives, for the first time in 40 whatever years it was, did a full-on one-scene episode where there was no other storyline going on other than Sammy, EJ, Abby, and the whole finding out.
Right.
So, having said that, right, what the hell is going on with Sammy and Lucas? And more importantly, do you all see the difference in Sammy this time around?
Yeah.
She's a little.
Nice. Just say it.
What I'm hoping is there's a backstory to all this, and it's going to come through, and that they just haven't basically discarded the Sammy that we've known and loved for almost 30 years now for this version.
Anthony,
take it away, Candace. I just heard it, so I know you got something to say.
It didn't just start. It started when it was the wedding, when she came and she was so pathetic, and she was going to shoot somebody because when Kristen had said when she revealed herself, and it was the wedding of John and Marlena. That's when, no offense, but that's when they started to quote unquote strip Sammy of what we all are, we know and love. I feel as though they are taming her just a little bit because even though, and before anybody jumps on me, I like Sammy and Lucas. I do. I just thought out of the 2, Lucas was the weakest one. I'm going to be honest. I can, this is, with EJ now coming back, I do hope there's a backstory. I do hope that we get that emotional situation because Sammy is hurt by the fact, that emotional disconnection that, she was talking about. I do hope that they do play on that because I feel as though it's not only important to the current story, but also to the history of both couples. You have to play on that because there's some missing. It's the history
that I'm looking at more than the current storyline.
Right.
But in the current storyline, I really don't recognize this version of Sammy. Computer science.
I recognize. I will say there's certain points when they're playing her and Lucas again. If you've been a fan of theirs since the day that they first both came on Days of Our Lives, there's certain there's certain moments, there's certain things like characteristics of Sammy and Lucas. At the same time, though, it is okay, Sammy, who are you? Are you wearing a mask? Is this really you? Because there's certain things she should be a little bit I get it for the comic, the comedic purpose of it, and the little nostalgia of that. But at the same time, you're Sammy freaking Brady DeMira. Why aren't you at the DeMira house tearing it up and telling people to get out? Why aren't you slapping Jake around and saying, you know what, I have, we know $10 million is gone. We know that. I like the fact that Xander asked her for that, too. Was do you have money? Do you have $10,000? And I'm thinking, Sammy does have her money. She has half of it. And then I'm thinking, wait, yeah, she does have the. I need for them to like really like tell us everything because there's a lot of missing pieces to the family, EJ. And I mean, we know that if you saw the summer preview, you know Johnny's back. By the way, hold on, Caroline. I know you saw this. I know we all saw this. Did we or did we not think that was Chandler Mancy? We thought that was Will and not Johnny. Okay. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't the only person because I was like, Will. And when she said Johnny, I was like, what? I was like, y'all sure that's a
Are you saying
Johnny?
Are you saying the photo looked like Chandler Mancy?
That promo when Allie said, you know, because when they showed the preview and you saw the guy, if she didn't say Johnny, I straight up thought that was Will.
I would have thought it was Will.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't see the promo,
I caught that.
Oh, you need to see the promo.
A few of the fans are saying the original EJ.
Yes.
You tell us why he left. They're saying that it's because they didn't like the that he didn't like the storyline.
So he left at the time. He felt that the storylines were not doing justice to the character anymore. That, you know, all the story had been told that could be told, blah 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 blah, and he wanted to go on and do other things.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought, and that's what I said. But someone said, "Oh no, it was over the plot with Abby and all that went on." And I said,
"Okay,
he was really
no." Okay, real quick. The one thing that Days of Our Lives did, you know, they've only done a few things that have really irritated me over the years. One of them being, you know, the whole Kristen Alfonso leaving and the way they handled that.
Right.
You know, that I'm sorry, but y'all done did dirty there. Y'all did dirty. But the same thing with EJ. You know, if an actor feels like that they have played everything they can play and they need a break or they're going to leave, quote unquote, for good, don't disrespect the storyline, the character, etc. that had come along. You know, and don't put out there. You know, it's a legitimate reason to leave. So they did him dirty when he left. And I understand his reluctance to go back to the EJ mystique. He did some fan events and whatever to repair the damage. But honestly, I hope you guys agree with me, the damage really wasn't his damage. He didn't go away bad-mouthing Days of Our Lives. Days of Our Lives bad-mouthed him once he left.
Okay. Oh, no. He was very nasty. He called the fans morons.
Wait a minute. Well, so let me kind of get it. Let me get into the mix of this real quick before we move on. It's both faults. Okay. It's both parties' fault. Because if anybody remembers when Sony leaked those emails out, there was talk of somebody taking James Scott and Allison Sweeney off of Days to do their own spinoff. And Ken Corday prevented that from happening because, quote unquote, that was his talent. Okay. This was around the time also that James Scott also allegedly wanted to do other projects because other people in soaps were doing other projects. That was prevented. He felt as though, okay, I will continue to, as on contract, continue to do what I'm supposed to do. Okay, just like Anthony and everybody says, at that time he felt as though he gave it all, his all. The writing was all that they could do. When they killed him off, that was the end of the chapter. Case closed. Da 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 da. There was some feedback from both sides towards the actor as well as to the writers. There were some people who behind closed doors did say some things.
Hold up, right there though. Let's put a pin in that for 1 second and recognize that shows like The Young and the Restless and General Hospital and even Bold and the Beautiful will work around actor schedules. I mean, let's face it, for years, okay, Tony Geary is Tony Geary, Laura, Jeannie Francis is Jeannie Francis, Vanola Hughes. But when you get to that part, that space where you're leading man, where you are carrying the show for months and months on end, It's built into the contract when you start to renegotiate that you get time off to take your acting abilities and try to sell them out to something else so that you can come back to the set feeling excited about playing Luke Spencer or Anna Devane or Marlena Evans. And it's even on Days of Our Lives it happens. Back in, not too long ago, Marlena and John would disappear for months on end, do their own thing, and come back. So when it was his turn, they didn't treat him the way they treat everybody else. And at that point, he was leading man status. Now, everything that he said and did at that point in time was not completely correct, but where he was coming from wasn't wrong. He wanted the same benefits applied to everybody else applied to him. Actresses like Kristen Alfonso, she didn't want to do anything else. She was content with coming to Days of Our Lives whenever they needed her and doing her, all her other businesses on the side. Same thing with Ariana Zucker. You didn't see her doing other acting roles. She was taking care of her businesses. So what's good for the goose needs to be good for the gander. He could have been more diplomatic in the way that he put the information out there. Absolutely. Right. But he really wasn't wrong with what he was asking for.
Right. And to kind of backtrack,
the interview that I read, he said that he was very dissatisfied with everything. He had fame, he had money, he had this, he had that. Didn't he go down to the Amazon or somewhere and was on a retreat?
Wasn't there something about finding God or something?
Yeah. He found something all right.
Whether it be other projects or other businesses or finding God, why shouldn't he be given the same accommodations and credit that if he wasn't going for other movies and stuff, it's not their business. He wanted it worked into his contract that he would get the time that others were getting so he could go pursue his other interests. And if he wanted to go, into a rocket ship and try to find the aliens that are floating around Earth, then God bless, let him do it. Then come back and not only that,
but also too on the thing you said he went to fan events and everything. Yeah, because he actually said some things too about Days of Our Lives, and it's like one of those things is that two wrongs don't make a right. I understand you're frustrated and everything, but you don't take it out on the show that gave you a paycheck so you can pay for your house and your rent.
Or the fans.
Or the show. Or the fans. Or the fans.
Wait,
so
he didn't,
to me,
one thing. Give me one example. Wait, hold up. Give me one example that he ever took it out on the fans, because he's always been very good with his fans. You want to take it out on the show? Wait, hold up. I'm not done. If I went to work every day and my coworker got 6 weeks of vacation so that she could go, I don't know, find herself in India and do the whole Julia Roberts Eat, Pray, Love, and they told me, well, you want to go to Philadelphia and ring the Liberty Bell isn't the same thing. You can't have that time. I'd be pissed.
I think when people, because me personally, I think when people have said he took it out on the fans, I think it's because some of the fans did not want to believe that the character died. And with soaps, the actors always can come back and stuff. But he kept saying, no, EJ's gone. He's done. I'm gone. I'm done. Yeah. So I think when fans heard that, it was like, well, wait a minute. Hold up. What did we do to you? We want you to come back. We like you. I think that's where it comes.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to pull the same card on you. Then why isn't there a fan backlash against Kristen Alfonso? Because for all we know, next year, Lisa.
Here we go.
Lisa Peluso could be on Days of Our Lives as the resurrected whole Brady.
Well, here's the thing about Kristen Alfonso. I think because. And I love Kristen Alfonso, and Kristen, if you're listening, hi girl. I think because fans was used to her, because keep in mind, this is a woman that also did Falcon Crest, okay? By the way, real side note, Falcon Crest needs to be somewhere. Amazon, Netflix, seriously, Paramount Plus, anything.
Yes, we need to resurrect Falcon Crest.
We need to resurrect that, yes, right now before it's Falcon Crest the next generation. I'm just saying. Yep. But I think people were so... Because you got to also understand the different fans. And I say this all the time. It depends on when these fans start watching the show. Because around that time, that's when you could not quote unquote be very you couldn't do like if you had did other projects and everything, it wasn't as loud as it is now. Like, okay, let's say like Greg Vaughn, who, by the way, we need to get him on the show too.
Yeah.
Greg Vaughn left. He's back, which I was surprised at. Yeah, I was surprised at, and I'm going to wrap this up. But like when we're so used to him leaving and everything, and the fact that last year he left to do Queen Sugar, the E. coli fans were upset because they was like, okay, y'all literally just gave that couple a wedding and sort of gave them a quote-unquote happy ending. Fans were upset, was loud because there was two things that they could have done. Recast, just like with Ben and Sierra, or kill the character off. Go back to the when E. Jamie started, that was Anthony, I'm about to use your word, that was fire, okay? And the fact that person, that James Scott was a part of that fire, and then the fans was like, this was like a couple. This was like, oh, you're not supposed to like these two because of what was going on. But they were fire. But the fact that James has said that so publicly, saying, I'm done with the show, I'm not coming back, they killed the character off, that kind of just like put water on the fire. And so now, like when James was going to these fan events, people did speculate, okay, did Days and him work everything out? Because it was just weird that, he stopped talking about Days, he shaved his head, looking like Lex Luger.
Look at Bo. Look at Bo. He did not want to come back on a full-time basis. He gave him a certain amount of, and he said what he's not Robert. What was the other? Who's the other Bo? Not Robert Kelly.
Peter Reckle.
Peter Reckle. Thank you.
Peter Reckle.
So they did him dirty too. They did not give him they did not give the character and the years on the show the ending that it deserved. They have every right to feel that way. Especially again, I have to say it when certain players, Julie, I love to hate her. I don't like Julie as a character, but I like what she brings to the show. But she gets to pick and choose. When you get to that status where for 6-7 years you are carrying leading man status and they can't afford you some of the things that they're affording some of the other actors/actresses, why would you not look at that? Think about it. If you went to work every day, it doesn't matter what the job is. McDonald's. Let's talk about McDonald's for a minute. If you went every day and you were flipping burgers, blah, 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 and your burger flipper gets 6 weeks off to go find himself in the jungles of South America and come back and be able to flip burgers, you'd be pissed off if they turned around and said, no, you can't have that. There's wrongs on both sides, but for us to beat up on James Scott as the actor for wanting what everybody else in his stratosphere was getting is wrong. It's wrong. He was only asking for what everybody else was getting. I've come off 7 years of carrying the storyline between EJ and Sammy, EJ and Nicole, EJ and Stefano, EJ and everybody hating EJ, EJ and Abby. All I want is to take the next level and see what else I can do, but still come back here. And when they say no,
if they give us that, right?
I hope
we can talk about
not too hard on the new one. I hope they're not too
okay.
hard.
As much as I'm enjoying this conversation, we have 11 minutes left to hit GH.
Oh, please, can I stop this one?
Wait, I'm going to stop this one.
No.
Girl, I have been waiting 2 weeks to say this.
I've been waiting 6 months.
All right, go ahead, baby, because I love you. Go ahead.
It is with great sorrow that I officially announced this on Take Two Radio. But sadly, we lost somebody. His name was Peter August. He gone, y'all. He gone.
Now wait a minute. Wait a minute. I did not see today's. Has anybody found him yet?
No. Why she did that? Why?
Because you know why. You know why.
Yeah.
I'm gonna mute
why.
you. I'm going to mute you. No, I was just wondering if they found him yet today because I know he's still laying and people are looking.
Yeah, nope, he ain't where he was supposed to be at, so he ain't there. But I'm look. Let me have this. So for those who like Pam, who's gonna miss him, I don't know what to tell y'all. But anyway, I just want to say this first and foremost. Okay, go ahead, Anthony, because I'm excited about this storyline.
Okay, I'm sorry. I can't hold it no more. You got the former chief of police who's whatever his role is now. You got the fact that he has been laying. Come on, yeah. It is not. We are not talking about 37 building complex of Mount Sinai Hospital. We're talking about General Hospital in Port Charles, New York. Okay. Please.
Wait a minute. Are we sure? Wait, hold on, Anthony. Are we sure it's in New York? Because when they was on the rooftop, I saw palm trees.
You saw palm trees.
I saw palm trees.
Told me that. My sister told me that. I said, no, you must be wrong. Thank you for telling me now that she's not crazy. I said, girl, you couldn't have seen palm trees. They're in upstate New York. Okay. No, but come
they
on.
Are, yeah.
How big is that damn hospital, first off? Okay. Second off, I have to say this. I am so sorry, but amnesia storylines, it is a staple of soap operas, blah, 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 blah. But if his memory has not been triggered yet, I am just so done with Nina and Sonny, or Mike, whatever he is right now.
Yeah.
But,
I can't with that anymore. I can't. I need to have Sonny back. I need Carly to find out about what Nina did. I need all that to happen.
You will.
I will say this. I love the way they're writing the Carly trying to run the mob. I love that part of it.
Mm-hmm.
That part,
but everything else is, is poop coming out of the back end, and we don't have baby wipes to make sure everything's clean. That's all I got to say about that.
Right.
Now, who do you think?
Go ahead.
You're going to say, okay. Who do you think is the one that's stalking Ava? Because I saw a spoiler, which I did not read, but I saw a spoiler say something about that maybe it's Nicholas actually stalking Ava.
Nicholas?
Okay.
Or Spencer?
No,
Nicholas. I'm thinking Spencer, but I saw a spoiler that said Nicholas.
Yeah,
I'm thinking
one
of two
Dante
things.
said that maybe that stalker's after Nicholas. So my theory is maybe it's Hayden.
Well,
Go ahead, David. Go on with that one because we know Rebecca Buddick is coming back at the end of the summer.
Yeah, and the other part is because of Sean and clue me in. I guess. See, I forgot that part of the history. I knew Sean was in jail for shooting, but he must have got wrongly accused of the wrong crime.
It was attempted murder. So he got booked for that. He did shoot, but it was attempted murder. So he went to jail for attempted murder of Hayden.
Okay, because I saw something. I also saw somebody say, I don't remember if it was on social media or where I saw it, but somebody said, don't you remember that Sean didn't actually try to kill Hayden, that it was Nicholas? But I don't remember that, but you know how my memory is. So come on, Encyclopedia, Candace or Anthony, tell me.
Go ahead, Candace.
Nicholas hired Sean to do it.
Nicholas
hired
Sean. Okay.
Yeah. That's where the attempted because Nicholas didn't want to have blood on his hands. Quote, get it, blood on his hands, get it. Okay, I'll be here.
Okay. Okay, I remember that. I just didn't think Nicholas actually did the shooting.
That's why everybody was asking about Sean being in jail because they was like, Hayden didn't die. He didn't kill Hayden, so why is Sean in jail? And I'm glad they reset it again was because he attempted to murder Hayden. So that's why he's still in jail.
So we know that Sean is about to come back in a huge storyline, and we know that Rebecca Buddick is returning to GH at the end of August. So I am pretty sure that it's going to turn out that Sean got out of jail and went to find Hayden because he wants to rectify his full name kind of thing. And exact, do penance on those who wronged, him and her, because now they've got a lot in common. Poor Hayden had to give up her daughter, et cetera, because of Nicholas. So we and by extension now, Ava has decreed that he is the prince. Now, I don't like what they've done with Nicholas. I really don't like what they have done with Nicholas. I just don't. But
I don't like what they're doing to Ava. That's just me.
Oh, girl, I don't like what they're doing with Ava either. But don't forget, they're throwing those little red herrings in. They want you to think that Ryan Chamberlain is working with somebody on the outside, and that it's going to turn out to be somebody connected with Ryan. So I'm going to tell you right here on Take Two Radio Soap tonight in June, let you know, don't bother worrying about the Ryan Chamberlain connection. That's not where it's going. We're going to see Sean and Hayden somehow connected as he comes back first, and she's going to blow into whatever he ends up blowing up everything, she's going to come in and ride the benefits. And that's going to be the next thing, because that they're pushing Anna and Finn back together. They want us to be invested in this when Hayden comes back. And he's going to have to make the choice, who's the safe one to choose. The woman who would leave her towel and float around the globe, blah, 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 because of a supposed threat from Nicholas and doesn't trust him enough to be able to take care of both of their safeties, or the woman who's the super spy, et cetera, who's never going to put him and his daughter first. So they're setting up the perfect storyline. I am very okay with this if that's the way it's playing out.
I'm okay with it, but you know what else I'm okay with? The fact that Peter's gone.
Oh, girl, he had to go. Pam, I love you.
Pam, we love
you. Him. Girl,
you're not proving it right now. You're not proving it right now.
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to say this. Kirsten Storm.
I love my man Gabriel. I love him. But if Peter, a.k.a. West, showed up at my door and said, "Oh, come on an adventure with me," it would be very hard for me to say no.
Okay, all righty. Well, there you go. No, but I will say this, that Wes Ramsey and Kirsten Storms, they did a phenomenal job in the last week.
Oh, my God.
And I'm going to say this now. If neither one of them gets a nod for next year's Emmys, there's going to be, I'm going to be a little upset. Real quick, we want to send our best wishes. I mean, girl's been home, though, to Kirsten Storms, because in case y'all didn't hear, she had brain surgery. She's cool. She's good. She's sewing. She's drinking lattes and stuff. But, Peter's dead. But I love the line that was said when Maxie told him, "You are a cheap imitation of your father." I was like, that is from Soap Twitter. I said, that's from Soap Twitter. I said, you can look at everybody's Twitter account because everybody said that. So I was like, Dan and Chris and the writers of GH, anytime y'all need ideas, we're here for you to get some good one-liners. But the fact that it was Finn who did it and that Elizabeth is covering up, brilliant. That is soap. That is soap 101 right there.
So brilliant. Yeah. Because they all have their individual motives. Yes, absolutely. And when they lock in on a suspect, it's going to be somebody. It's going to be somebody that everybody loves, and they're going to be tortured. Elizabeth and Finn are going to be tortured.
And you know what? The funny thing is, since they can't find the body, maybe he is at the docks, like I've been predicting for 6 months. Right there. Right behind the crate.
We have 1 minute and 40 seconds left, and I just want to add in as far as, yay, baby. Okay, British lady, I just said that. For those of you that don't know, there's a voice that comes in my ear that says 90 seconds. Okay. So baby Louise is born, and it just tore my heart out to see Maxie wake up from that dream thinking she was holding her baby, and the baby, Louise / Bailey, was not really there with her. That was another great thing.
Okay,
I know.
But you know what? I gotta give General Hospital credit, bringing Brooklyn into the storyline and setting it up all this. Come on. If they did not the history
because you kind of know where this is going to lead.
Yeah.
You know where this is going to lead to.
You know where this is going to lead. There's going to be love involved, et cetera, et cetera. Yes.
Yeah. And see, this
Lots
is the
of
storyline that. Yeah, and see, I feel as though, real quick, they're doing this story because, you know, the other storyline with Willow and them, that should have been the story. That should have been Mike and Lucas and all of them, like all of this. So I'm glad that they're actually doing it with Maxie. My heart broke when Brooklyn showed her the baby.
Yeah.
Because, again, Maxie had to do what she had to do for her child. It's going to, oh, my God, I guess, the tears. Well,
10 seconds.
So,
10 seconds, we're going to have to go next.
Also, one of the best lines was when she said, being loved by him is worse than being his enemy. Oh, my God, my whole body ripped with her.
Okay,
Kristen,
we're off air, guys. We're off air. We're going to have to continue next time. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you for Briana Lane for joining us. And good luck on Daytime Emmys. That's it. We'll see you next time.
All around. Love you all.
Love you, too. We'll be on the night before. We'll be on the night before the Emmys, too, for our Emmy picks.
Yep.
Here we go. Good night, everybody.
All right. Bye, guys.